Welcome back to Every Disney Movie Ever. My name is Jess and I'm watching Every Disney Movie Ever. Today I'm going to talk about Benji the Hunted. Benji the Hunted is a 1987 theatrical release. It is written and directed by Joe Camp, cinematography by Don Reddy, editing by Karen Thorndik, and the music is by Yule and Betty Box. Joe Camp is best known for all the Benji movies. I didn't know these movies existed, but apparently they're like a big deal. It's like Air Bud. Don Reddy is best known for In the Line of Fire, National Treasure of the Truman Show, and The Last of the Mohicans. Karen Thorndik is best known for Assassins, My Own Private Idaho, Class of 1999, and Scorchy. Betty and Yule Box are best known for the Benji movies. The film stars Benji, who plays himself and is best known for being Benji, and Red Steagall, who plays the Hunter and is best known for Vanishing Point, Shadows on the Wall, Big Bad John, and Route 66. Roger Ebert liked this movie, but it has a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. It made $22.2 million in the box office. Benji is a film series that apparently was a big deal. I've never heard of these films. The first one came out in 1974. This one came out in 1987. And apparently there's like 12 of them, and this was the 9th one. This is the only one Disney had anything to do with. It was in charge of distribution. This film caught me completely off guard for 4 reasons: the cinematography, the editing, the music, and the complete lack of dialogue. The visuals are breathtaking. They really showed off Oregon and Washington and just wildlife in general. I really was blown away by the visuals, but also the shot decisions and the amount of coverage they got in order to convey their story without any dialogue. Because of the lack of dialogue, music played a huge role in this film. It was a character in and of itself. The only music that I wasn't a fan of was toward the end, the 2 times the wolf totally like shocked you and was there. The music was ridiculous. It just was a complete polar opposite of every other music cue in the film, but otherwise there was this little main theme that sounded very similar to You've Got a Friend in Me from Toy Story. So it was just so heartwarming, and the emotional moments, the music was incredible, and it just really, really enhanced the story experience. Before I geek out about the editing, this film is about a dog named Benji who gets lost in the wilderness of Oregon and Washington and encounters a mountain lion who gets killed and then finds her cubs and feels a sense of duty in making sure these cubs are taken care of, and in the course of the film keeps trying to get this other lioness to adopt these cubs. It is such a simple but touching story, and now I'm going to geek out about the editing. Because of the lack of dialogue, this film lived or died in the editing room, and it soared, in my opinion. I thought the editing for this film was ridiculously well done, in the fact that because there's no dialogue, we have to understand what this dog is thinking just based on all the shots they filmed. And by doing that and showing us a certain order of shots, a certain length of shots, and a certain way the shot was shot, you get that meaning, just without any dialogue. I will give you an example. Throughout the film, there is a helicopter with a man in it searching for Benji. Benji feels a sense of duty to these cubs that he is caring for and wants to find an adoptive mother for. Throughout the film, they show this inner struggle by showing every time the helicopter comes around, Benji looks and wants to go and get found because Benji knows that helicopter is looking for him, but hides and hesitates because he's so worried about these cubs. So for instance, in one shot, Benji sees the helicopter for the first time and starts to run out, but stops and looks back, sees the cubs, then looks back, looks at the helicopter. Then you look at Benji, and Benji backs away and hides under a shroud. All through these certain shot choices and order, you know Benji wants to be found, but is keeping himself from being found so he can care for the cubs. Without any dialogue, all shown visually of a dog. It was amazing. And then probably my favorite editing sequence in the entire film is when Benji comes up with the final plan of how he's going to get the cubs seen by this lioness, because the cubs are so slow that he's the only one seen by the lioness half the time, and the lioness runs away and wants nothing to do with Benji, and Benji is desperate to get these cubs to have a family so he can be found and go back to his life. So the final moments when he realizes what his plan is going to be and how he's going around doing it and making all these plans was extraordinary, and you knew exactly what he was doing and why he was doing it and how he was doing it, all through editing, because there's no narration, there's no dialogue, the dog doesn't talk, it's just a dog in the wilderness with a bunch of lion cubs. It was extraordinary. I wanted to mention two funny things because I can't help myself. There was a jump scare in the film. The hunter grabs Benji, and you think, because the hunter has been established as this evil character because he killed the mountain lion in the beginning, you think Benji's like totally screwed, and it's a huge jump scare. It got me so good that I laughed at myself for 5 minutes. The second thing is this wolf character Benji has to deal with. Benji goes through a lot of trials and hardships throughout the film, obviously, and one of them is this wolf character who obviously wants to eat him and the cubs. And so in the final encounter with this wolf, Benji tricks the wolf into going over a cliff. And I thought, because we've already seen that these bushes actually are a fake out and lead to a cliff, that they just show the wolf going through them and that would be that. But no, the wolf went through them, and you see this wolf totally fall. And I gasped so loud. Obviously the wolf wasn't harmed, like no animals were harmed in the making of the film, but caught me so off guard. This movie was a welcome surprise. I was so blown away by the editing and the visuals, and I just am so happy I watched it, and it's shocking to me that it was like the 9th film to star Benji in this Benji series. Makes me very curious about the others. I did cry. I cried when the cubs finally got accepted by the new lioness mother and Benji was leaving and was like, oh, thank goodness. I cried then. And obviously the first lioness mother was killed. That is a parent death. So I'm going to give it 8 lion cubs out of 10. Our total movie count is. Our parent death toll is. Our cry count is. If you want to keep up with what movie I'm watching when, follow me on Instagram and Twitter and you'll find out what movie I'm watching when. I put up videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Until next time, comment, subscribe, and I'm sure that you are, so you do. And don't be, I guess, the hunter about it, but he actually wasn't that bad of a dude, but he killed the lion in the beginning, so I guess the hunter. Don't be him. Wow, my butt hurts. I need to get out this chair. Beach's last video.